talk about that expansion, because I mean, obviously, if you were down south, I mean, everyone knew Raising Cane's, but if you were up north, it was kind of like, what is this company? Where did they come from? And you guys are huge.
Right. When I started the business 29 years ago in Louisiana, and so we kind of grew out concentrically from there. Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and grew out from there. Then we went to up the Midwest, and then we went to the West Coast, and then the East Coast was our latest growth here, and it's been absolutely fantastic. You know, over the years, we're going about 100 restaurants a year now, and that's the amount of restaurants we feel we could operate well, right? And so since restaurants are hard business, you got to make sure you're prepared and you don't overgrow so you don't give that great quality and service.
When you say operate well, so are all your stores owned by the company? Is that the idea?
They're company restaurants, and you know, like franchising works for some concepts, but nobody's going to run your restaurant like a founder wants it to be, right? Like no one's going to care about it as much as me and my team does. You know, actually, we had some franchisees in the beginning, and I bought them back. We raised sales 35% plus just because I think we operated better.
But how do you do that? I mean, managing, you know, 1 or even 10 locations in the same city or in the same geographic area is pretty easy, I would think, or easier relative to 900 plus, you know, spread out across multiple states.
Yeah, you know, we have almost 1,000 locations to think about across the country, but the main thing is just having great people that literally share your same values and work ethic. And so if you get those people, the restaurant leaders in that restaurant, they're that Todd Graves in that restaurant, taking care of their crew. If you get those types of people, intrinsically motivated, good leaders, then it's not that hard to replicate.
Talk about just sort of how this got into the zeitgeist. I mean, I've been familiar with some of your advertising campaigns, some of the partnerships you've had with celebrities, and getting their faces, you know, plastered all across this space. What has been the primary strategy to make people aware of Raising Cane's?
Yeah, you know, it's top of mind, right? And so the traditional marketing for restaurants, you know, it was like fast food was top of mind, billboards, radio, TV. And that's about a penny to a penny and a half per impression, one person seeing that. When social media came out, right? Now, when I started the business, we didn't have cell phones, right? So I'm like, let me study the social media. I can be a tenth of a penny, right? So I can blast out. But what people like is good content. They don't want to see your food every day, and they love celebrities. And celebrities that love my brand, I love to do things with them. So it's like catching the moments, right? So the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Get Saquon 2 days later, I'm with them in the drive-thru working, right? National Chicken Finger Day. My buddy Snoop Dogg comes on. We said it's like Christmas morning to me, but I'm sick, and he had to take over and deliver chicken fingers to all the good boys and girls. And like Cynthia Erivo, like her after, you know, one of the award shows, but immediately after she's at Cane's, right? My buddy Post Malone, and doing great partnerships with them. You know, those things excite people. We tap into their fan base, and then you stay top of mind, and it's actually much cheaper.
So did I hear that you did something related to A Christmas Story here in New York today?
We did. You saw our whole campaign this year. Peter Billingsley's a friend, you know, original Ralphie from Christmas Story. What
Seen
a great
that about
guy.
100 times.
And we partnered, right? And we did a campaign, and what Peter really liked was our charitable component. It's our bike giveaway. So he's like, can I be at the bike giveaway in Times Square when you do it? I said, absolutely. I said, you be the star of this and come out. Peter actually brought his original Pink Bunny suit. And the cowboy suit and the Red Ryder BB gun. And there was only one of one. They gave it to him after the movie was done. He's kept it in his vault, and he brought it out for everybody to see. We put them in our holiday windows at Raising Cane's. We won Best Windows again, New York, second year in a row. The costumes really helped. But Peter wanted to be part of that, giving out to the kids. And he and I both were just, you know, had that memory of having a bike on Christmas morning. And it's just great to give that joy.
Well, sorry I missed that. I did a pilgrimage earlier this year to Cleveland, and that was one of the first places I went to go see the house.
Did you really? Oh my gosh. I can't wait for Peter to meet you. He's going to love to hear that story.
Absolutely. But so talk a little bit about kind of what comes next. I mean, you mentioned 29 years old. I mean, you're a mature company, obviously very successful. You're tracking something like 10 billion a year in sales. How big can this get? I mean, are we talking like McDonald's level, or I mean, what do you want it to be?
Yeah, I want to grow it as big and as far as I can. I love being part of communities, right, wherever it makes economic sense. You know, we're about 1,000 locations now in the U.S. We could probably do about 3,000 locations here, and we were really well received in the Middle East. We've been there for 10 years. We have 55 restaurants there doing great. We're opening in London.
Was the Middle East your first international outpost?
It really was, and the main thing was my partner there is a really, really solid restaurant operator. He couldn't do company restaurants there. The politics and things that go on, better to do a partner. Very good, but they love American concepts, and they don't want you to change anything, no menu changes, things like that. So we've done well there. When that started to do well, then we got these attractions all over the world. I said we could either slow down, really learn this. Our next play internationally is going to be in the UK, starting off in Piccadilly Circus next year. And then we're also going to grow into Mexico. We're going to start off in Monterey next year.
So the UK, you're basically chicken fingers and fries, and you're going to be up against fish and chips, which is basically, you know, fried fish. fish and fries. So you think you can win over the Brits with our American cuisine?
I think it's just an alternative, right? So like literally, we are chicken and chips, right? It's the boneless chicken on that with the deal. Yeah. They love that type of concept. We've had our #1 request in all the world comes from the UK. And so we're gonna break out there.
I'm curious about competition. Do you worry at all about, I guess, either new upstarts, but even like old ones, you know, like say a KFC, maybe they get their mojo back, or Popeyes, or something like that?
Yeah, I try not to concentrate what others do.
Yeah.
I say for us, let's just focus on what we do well. We've done the same thing for 29 years. The menu has not changed over all these years. We don't have limited time offerings. All we do is have a exceptional, craveable meal, because I've never cut quality one bit. The cook-to-order process, which goes out, and concentrate on great customer service. That's us taking care of our crew that takes care of the customers. That's the winning combination, that craveable food, but served by friendly people. And the things we do in the community, I think people really resonate with that.
Just real quickly, I only have a few seconds left, but on the customer service angle, and as somebody who's been in your store several times here, I have noticed the way they greet you, the way they give you your food. It's much more personable than a lot of places that shall remain nameless. Is that, I assume that's a training process, right? You just don't just by happenstance find those people.
The main thing is they feel, my crew feels appreciated, right? I appreciate them, my team appreciates them. And it's a different style, positive motivational management. Typically, I mean, I worked in restaurants in college and in high school, and it was do this, do that. It was negative terms. We're like, hey, please do this. Great job. You know, you tell a 16-year-old kid, that's great toast you're grilling. You think they'd be like, this is easy, but they're like, hey, thanks. And like, thanks for working that drive-through. You're doing amazing. You're making people's day. If people are appreciated, then they'll pass it on to the customer.